A head teacher of a school in Oxford has warned that some parents are smoking cannabis with their kids as they would prefer them to experiment at home. She says they're hosting house parties where they allow kids to drink and smoke as they believe it's a better alternative to fake IDs and drinking in bus shelters. So, what do we think? Do you think it's better to let kids experiment? Because it's something they are going to do.
Not in my house. No, because whatever you think about cannabis, it's a lot stronger now than it ever used to be. This stuff they smoke now called skunk, I think it is. And I think pretty much a lot of medical opinion would tell you that kids of 14 or 15, their brains haven't formed properly yet, and that is a really bad time. So it's all very well if their parents are like a bit hipster and in their 40s thinking it's really cool, but their brains are fully formed. The 14 and 15-year-olds, it's probably the worst time in your life to smoke that kind of stuff. Yeah. When I was young, I did lots of things that my mum didn't know about. But again, I've said this before on the show, I think when your parents validating something, it's a very different situation. But then I also understand, I mean, I've only got daughters, but I know that when we were young, we would hang out in the recreation ground or the bus stops or whatever. I understand now that on the streets, it's not safe anymore. It's a lot, more like the Wild West, particularly if you've got young sons. So I do understand that parents think, oh, let's bring them in under our roof.
Feel safer at home, yeah.
Yeah, but smoking dope with my children, that is not going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, moving it away from cannabis, what about the whole idea of even just partying with your kids or letting your kids have house parties? Because all kids want to have house parties. I mean, in my house, it's just a blanket no.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't want them. They have lots of friends round, but not an actual party.
Yeah. I mean, sorry, Brenda, carry on.
No.
No, I was going to say that I think for me the worst years were from 15 to 17 because they can't go anywhere. Because, all of they used to have fake ID and stuff, but all of the bouncers are wised up to that. So they can't go anywhere legally, but they want to kind of flex their wings a bit so that all these house parties start popping up. And, and you get that dreaded, oh, Mum, can I go to this house party tonight? And it's like, oh, here we go. Am I going to be the really uncool parent that emails the other parent going, will there be alcohol? Is there anyone on the door? But, you've got to do that.
You know what's brilliant? It's because, Mum and Dad live around the corner. My dad has started volunteering to take Finn to and from. Because we live in a village, the parties they're kind of spread about, so it's not as easy to necessarily get to. Because I know my dad's picking... It's his granddad. He's not going to want to be like, coming into the car, because it's his granddad. So I just think embarrassment is kind of holding him back at the moment. Which is brilliant. Honestly, I'm going to hire my dad out. I'm going to hire my dad out. He'll go and pick your kids up and just go, right, what ton of time have you been having? That's what you need.
I've hosted a house party for myself, and I also allow if my children want it, I've hosted... My daughter's had 3 house parties.
That you've hosted?
That she's hosted, but I've been there.
Yeah.
But, I think it's everything... You have to have rules. And I'm a stickler for things like that, and my children know what I'm about.
Do they have it in the annex?
Well, my daughter, she had an 18th birthday party.
Yeah.
And then she was like, Mum, can I bring some people back? And I was like, OK, how many people are we talking first? Sure. You've got to know the... And then it's like, that's fine. And these are the rules. You can't do this, you can't do that. Nobody's allowed upstairs.
Totally.
I have a separate toilet. They stay downstairs and use that toilet.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone upstairs, and I will know if
Were
they've
they
gone
allowed upstairs, your own children?
Well, no, because they're going to get followed. But the thing, as long as you've got some control over it, and, I'm there in my front room, the living room, and they're in the other main room.
Yeah.
And it's never... She's had 3, and it's never come out badly. I use plastic cups, plastic plates, because I'm not having any breakages.
Yeah.
And I provide food, and she lets her friends know this is what my mum's about, and they all kind of know me to know don't do that, because
Can I let my kids have a party in your house, then?
I mean, going back to the cannabis thing, it is still completely illegal to smoke weed anywhere in Britain, and that includes your own property. Right. But, of course, what this lady was saying is that actually the police don't necessarily enforce that so much anymore. So it's a bit of a minefield. But I remember my older daughter went to a house party once, and I said to her, whatever situation you're in, whatever time of day or night, ring me, because, you know, I won't be cross.
Yeah.
And she was at a house party and the parents were there, and she rang me and she said the parents are locked in a room because somebody put it on Facebook. All these people had turned up who weren't invited. It had got out of hand. She said, I'm really scared, can you come and get me? So it's me and my nightie driving, you know. But I wasn't cross. It was like 2 or 3 in the morning. She was supposed to be staying at this house because the parents were there.
Yeah.
And, you know, you just got to kind
But I can remember that happening back when I was a teenager. Facebook wasn't around then, because I'm that old. But word had got out or what have you, and loads of gate crashers turned up at some party. The police were called. It was terrible, and everyone just got thrown out. But it was before the days of mobile phones, so I just had to sort of sit on a curb and wait until my dad came. And then when he did come, I didn't tell him what had happened. He just went, oh, you're out. I was in waiting for him. I just said yes, got in the car and went home. It's kind of all... There's always been this sort of drama around kids' parties or teenage parties.
Loads of parties, to be fair.
Yeah, but you see, my second party that I had a christening party.
Yeah.
I got my son looked after, so he was fine. And I held a party at my house for a christening party. I charged people 10 quid on the door because I'm supplying the food and the drink. And then I give them wristbands, and my girlfriends were security. Yes, they have stamps, so I know who's coming in. If you don't have a stamp, you ain't coming in. And I charged them, and then when I left in the morning, they left at 12 o'clock the next day, and my white walls had bum marks all the way going along where everybody had been dancing on the walls.
Hey, what's this? Because they're frightened to move.
Into the wall.
Well, that's how you host a house party.
Can we just point out those bums did have jeans on? It wasn't
They weren't
that
naked
kind of
bums.
party.
No.